some me time. It would be terrible if my viewers found out the truth about me, that I lead a double life. On YouTube, I reload ammunition. Away from YouTube, I reload ammunition. Quite the double life. Oh, man. But, yep. Now no one can see me reload. Now I can enjoy, oh man, rifles hand loader. This is so awesome. And my wife, who knows where she's at. This is so great. Oh yeah. Yeah. Finally, some me time. No one knows. This is great. Oh, nice bowl of soup. Yeah. Can't let this little bug going around and kick me in the butt. No. No. Yeah. That's pretty good. This is really good. Got it all to myself. Don't know where my wife's at. Got the live stream camera shut off. This is great. Oh man, this vegetable beef soup, so good. Well, what am I going to reload? Some powder-coated bullets. These are so pretty. Silver, black, purple, red, and blue. Oh, oh, yes, yes. The blue matches my blue fingernail polish. That is so nice. But the red, oh, the red totally matches my Wet and Wild lipstick. Oh, this is so great. This is... Oh. But wait. The red and blue are 300 grains. The blue is 300 grains. I want to load 250. I can't use the blue. I can't use the red. Means I can't use my lipstick and I can't use my blue fingernail polish. What am I going to do?
What the heck are you doing with my makeup?
Wait.
Makeup! Hand it over! You're live, honey.
What?
You're busted. Hand it over.
What do you mean I'm live?
It's on. Say hello to all your viewers.
The camcorder's over there.
I think you must have another one set up.
No! 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 Oh, guys, it's not what you think. Oh, no! Oh, no, it's not what you think. That wasn't lipstick. That wasn't fingernail polish. Those are just bullets. What you saw Guys, it's not me. I don't lead a double life. So, who do we got on? Who do we got on? All right, man, this is awesome. I think Tony Owens, he said impromptu session. Yeah, impromptu, a little bit impromptu. We did some 44 mag last night, and so I want to do some 44 mag today with these powder coated bullets. We talked about doing it, so I thought, what the heck, let's do it. But I gotta tell you guys something. How many we got on? How many do we got on? We have don't move. We have 13 on. So I gotta tell you guys what I did today. My wife and I went over to Walmart, and I just thought, you know what? I need to be able to use all my shop. So I bought a little, I don't know, it's just a little flat screen for $88, extra cables, pulled the camcorder over here. So I can read your comments here. We can view there. What do you guys think? Okay, we got 12 on. Okay. We have Reloader Noob, different view today. Tony Owens, Kay. Oh man, Kay says Mansky. Hello, we're awake now. Good morning, Kay. Been praying for you. Grounds 28. Hello, Captain David 221. No, my wife made me some soup. We got all right. We got some good folks on here. Miss Highboy, my best friend, my wife. I think you better stick to reloading, honey. Yeah, I don't think I'm really good with makeup. I don't. Chris Robacker, that was great. Good peek there by Tony Owen. So I'm actually eating. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. But I thought I'd just kind of eat while we talk. You guys don't always have food. Always have food, right? And so I thought I'd give a chance for some to jump on if they want. And we're going to load some 44 mag. First off, what's everybody doing today? What are you doing? Are you reloading ammunition? Is just relaxing into the year? What are you doing? Tony Owens, he has potato soup in the crock pot right now. We'll be right over. Heck yeah. So what I'm gonna load up, how many of you are familiar with Elmer Keith? Elmer Keith. Do you know who Elmer Keith is? Creamy vegetable beef. Saving energy for New Year's Eve. That's awesome. Yeah, me and Miss Highboy, we're going to be partying down. We're going to party hard. Party hard. We're not partiers. No way. So who's familiar with Elmer Keith? Chris Robacker. He's cleaning dyes. Decided I'd hop onto YouTube and watch a few videos. Yeah, and he got some new Hornady toys today. He texted me that. Come on down. We'll be right over for some potato soup. We'll be down there. Absolutely. Okay. We're gonna get to work. So we're gonna load some powder-coated bullets. And you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm going to do a video taking these to the range, running them out of the ransom rest, okay? So we can see just how these perform accuracy-wise. What do you say? And I'm not going to work a bunch of different loads up, we're gonna work with a charge, and we're just gonna see what we can expect. Okay. Now, if you guys, anyone that wants to see kind of what this whole setup looks like from that side, go in the description box below, click on my Facebook link, go to my Facebook page, Bill Morgan, and you can kind of see what I got a gaming computer, so kind of see what it looks like, the setup, and check it out. Okay. So the question is what color bullet are we going to load? Are we going to do the cool chrome, the black, or the purple? Maybe we want to do purple for Kay and Miss Highboy. What color bullet are we going to load? Carl says Elmer Keith, development of the first Magnum revolver cartridge, the 357 Magnum, and he had everything to do with the development of the semi-wad cutter which we're using. And the true Keith load was not a 240 grain semi-wad cutter, it was a 250 grain semi-wad cutter. So what color bullet are we going to use? You pick it, you let me know. Chrome, we got a chrome. Bjorn says pink, that would actually be purple. Yeah, Reloader Dude is speaking to me because I don't know how to reload, so Reloader Dude is coaxing me on here. Thank you, Reloader Dude. Thank you. So far we got chrome and pink. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I think we ought to do? We'll do an assortment of all. How's that? How's that? Okay. I have black, silver, and purple. We're going to load up 20 rounds. Stay. I like the silver the best. Alright, so we're going to work with 3 of the colors, and we're going to load up 20 of these bad boys. I'm going to take these 20 bullets and I'm going to set them over here. Okay? Now, I'm going to try something. I don't know if this is going to work. Just give me just a sec. I'm going to try and teach some of the new guys something here, but I don't know if this is going to work with my smartphone. Bear with me, bear with me. I'm looking at a PDF file, so it's not going as fast as it could be going. Okay. I want everybody to open up another browser on your screen. You don't have to watch me. Open up another browser. I'm going to teach you something. Okay? In your browser, hang on. Go to SAAMI.org, SAAMI.org. I want everybody to sound off in the comments when you're there. SAAMI, SAAMI.org. I'm going to be looking for your sound offs to know that you're there. I'm going to show you something. This is going to help you understand bullet fit. Okay? Tony Owens, he likes the pickup. Yeah, that's my little Ford pickup. That's an awesome pickup. Your boys and your toys. Geez, yeah. Boys and their toys. Okay. Is everybody there yet? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Okay, looks like Bjorn's there. Reloader dude. Okay, so now that you're there, I want you to go to info and specs. Okay? And then you're going to go ANSI SAAMI standards. And then we're going to go center fire pistol. It's going to pull a PDF file up. Carl's got it. Hang with me on this, okay? Now, table of contents. 44 Remington Magnum, page 54, okay? By the way, a long time ago, I had a guy get on my channel and he started knocking Richard Lee's reloading book, and he said, anyone that puts 44 mag before 44 special in the reloading book doesn't know anything. I want you to pay note here. Under SAAMI, they have 44 Magnum and then 44 Special. So don't listen to rhetoric like that. That's stupid. That's stupid, right? So now, I'm going to go to page 54 and you go to page 54. See what you're learning? If you, once you look at this, if you drop out of this video, you would learn a lot. So I'm going to page 54. How am I doing? Bullet for brains. That's okay, buddy. That's okay. You just, whatever you can do. I picked this time because we got a busy evening and it's the only time I had to do it. Okay, I'm at page 54. I'm going to grab up my pointer here. Got my new glasses, so bear with me. Now, come back to me. Come back to the video and watch me. because when you see what I'm going to point you to, then you can go back and reference this PDF file. Okay? On our 44 Magnum, we have a groove diameter of 0.429. We have a bore diameter of 0.417. That's because of our rifling. Are you with me? Whenever you're dealing with a cast bullet, you want to pay attention to the diameter of the bullet that you're wanting to shoot. As an example, if you have a 0.429 diameter bore and you shoot a 0.429 diameter cast bullet, you're going to have leading. Why? Because what we've been learning is the gas is trying to get around the outside of this bullet. If that gas can do that, I don't care how hard that lead is, it's going to begin melting. Heat's a killer. Are you with me? So we have a 0.429 diameter bore that we're working with. And these are a 0.430 diameter bullet. That means these are a thousandths over our 0.429. Oregon Trail is 0.431. They're 2 thousandths over. Now hang with me here. Your modern handguns, they're going to be pretty doggone close to that 0.429. I've heard some guys say older. I don't want to read too much into this, but older firearms can, you know, they weren't held to the same specs and whatever. And I haven't ever dealt with that because I don't cast. But here's the deal. Here's the bottom line. If you're running a cast bullet and you're getting leading, get a bullet that is a thousandths larger. That's the first place you got to start. Okay, now Bullet for Brains sent me these. He's got these. He's casting them at 0.430. He's running them up to 1,400 feet per second. He's not getting leading issues out of these. He does say he cleans his revolvers a lot. He can get a couple hundred rounds out of them. So we're going to see what we can get out of these. So we're working with a cast bullet that's a diameter 0.430. Okay? How am I doing? Thanks, Tony. I love the shirt too. Okay. So now we got to go to our manual, and we have to talk about our recipe that we're going to run. This is a 250 grain bullet, and we're going to have it moving. We're going to use a slow burning powder. It's a Magnum powder, and there's going to be a lot of muzzle energy. One thing you'll hear people say, the true Keith load was a 250 grain semi wad cutter hard cast bullet with 22 grains of 2400 powder. But that doesn't mean you can just go running that. You just can't go load up 22 grains of that, because you know, you could have a bullet with a little bit larger diameter, and think about it, larger diameter in your bore is going to be more pressure, right? You could be running a hotter primer, that's going to give you a little more pressure. You don't know what your cases are going to do. But here's what we do. And actually, if you go read Elmer Keith's 6-gun load book, well, I forget the title of it, Elmer Keith says, increment the powder charge from a minimum charge a half a grain at a time until you see the primer flattening. At that point, you're going to increase the powder charge 1/10 of a grain increments until you have a problem with that case extracting. Once your case is extracting hard, that's telling you you're getting up into that danger zone. Okay, that's how you approach a Keith load. You just don't throw 22 grains and go hit it and go for it. Okay, some guys get away with running 23 grains just because different case, different primer, but they have worked up to that watching for signs of pressure. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So, I'm in my Richard Lee Modern Reloading Manual, and I'm going to go to 44 Magnum. This is a great manual, by the way. Lee does a very good job. And what we're going to do, I'm on page 236. I'm going to go to the 250 grain lead bullet, and we are going to run 2400. It says Hercules. Hercules used to own 2400. Now it's Alliant. 2400. Our min charge is 17.6. Our max charge is 20. Now, we're saying, but I thought we could go to 22. You might get to 22, but what this load data is saying is that's what they tested it to. Any higher than that, and the pressures were too much, but it was based off temperature and altitude changes everything about pressures in your case. So when I'm shooting here in my area versus what someone's shooting 10,000 feet higher than me, two different things. That's why we all just can't just start loading whatever we want. So what are we going to do? We're going to load starting at 17.6 grains. Now, it would be too much of a logistical mess for me right now to begin working with these loads in half grain increments and then dialing it in. Too much confusion. But what we can do as reloaders, we can start, let me double check this, at 17.6, right? And we can begin loading in increments of, say, we can run a 17.6 and then we can go 18.1 and then try the 18.1, then we can go 18.6, and we're looking for flattened primers, right? When we start seeing a flattened primer, we know we're getting close, and then we're going literally a 1/10 of a grain at a time looking for sticky cases. So it's a bit of a process, okay? But what we can do, we can run the min charge of 17.6. Now, you hear me say that when we're running a fast burning powder, very fast, very hot, like bullseye, tight group, if whatever that min charge is, I always recommend starting a couple tenths high, because your pressure curve drops off. You're going to end up getting a bullet stuck in the barrel. With this, a slow burning Magnum powder, don't worry about it. It doesn't drop off like that, okay? We can run 17.6, and if something happens, you're throwing your charges and you just drop a little low, you know what? It's not enough to dive it, okay? So we'll be fine. Does everybody understand? Okay, I'm hoping everybody's understanding what I'm saying. So, the rest of our recipe. We're going to run a large pistol primer. Don't run Magnums. Magnums are going to change everything. If you want to run Magnums, you have to start at the min charge. But I don't recommend that, because we're running with a Magnum load. It could change everything. It could be a catastrophe in your hand, okay? So we're going to run with the primer we're running. Our load data manual says large pistol primer, and then our cases. For Now I'm going to reposition this because I'm going to be on my feet here. So just kind of bear with me. These are new cases. They're all Midway, but from what I understand, Starline makes these. These are all new. So I would suggest when you're working with a Magnum load like this, you're working with all the same head stamps, so they're all as perfectly in length as they can, and the same cycle. In other words, these are all new, but if they'd all been fired, then all of them will have been fired once. They won't be mixed, okay? If one's been shot 5 times, they've all been shot 5 times. Are you with me? So now, so we have our cases. So we've identified our recipe: bullet, powder, primer, case, in that order, because your bullet has more to do with accuracy than everything else. Are you with me? So we are ready to begin setting our dies up. And once again, we're going to be using the Redding dies. These are the dies that I'm using. Die number 88286. The first die that we need is resize and decap, but I don't need it. These are new cases, okay? But it's not a bad thing to run a new case through the resize die to true it perfect, because then after we expand, we got a perfectly round case. You know, a new case then gets smashed or whatever through transit, so it's not a bad thing to do. So if they're new cases, you could remove the decap pin, but we're going to leave the decap pin because you might have cases that need to be decapped. Our decap pin is about 3/8 extended past the mouth of the die. Okay, it's all tightened down. Take your die lock ring, run it all the way up. Now we are gonna we're gonna zoom in here. All right. Run your ram up. You're going to take your resize die, thread it all the way in. Now, this is a rimmed, straight-walled cartridge. So this is going to be the same die setup for 357 Mag, 38 Special, 41 Magnum, you know, any cartridge case of that design. Once we feel the die touch the shell holder, we stop. Okay? Now, I felt it. Oh, guys, don't do that. I forgot my shell holder. Okay, that's okay. I was running this last night, but one of the things I do is I'm sick-minded. Last night after I came out and I loaded up everything, I tear my stuff down and I put my shell holder up so I don't lose it. So okay, now the first thing we got to do, let's get our shell holder snapped into place, and I'm going to back the resize die out. Now we're going to run it down until we touch the shell holder. There we go. We're just touching the shell holder, and now tighten your lock ring, just like that. And now what I'm going to do, for sure, I'm going to, last night I didn't do this, but because these are heavy Magnum loads, I'm going to tighten my lock rings. I don't want these things moving at all. So there, we have our resize and decap die set up. You can take your first case, place it into the shell holder, and just smoothly run it. It should be nicely smooth. If it had a primer, it shouldn't have one now. Okay? Very nice. The next die. This is our expander die. Went over this last night, but we'll go over it again. With our expander die, it's got a bevel for ease of entry into the case mouth. But some guys, they think that this is expanding it. This from here to here, okay, look very carefully. From here to here, that sets the neck tension. But then you see that step? That's exclusive to Redding from what I know. And then this is what expands the mouth. This step right here is going to put a step in the mouth of the case that will allow us to seat the bullet vertical, perfectly aligned to our case. Some guys think that when they feel this part of the expander plug pushing into the die, they think they're expanding it. They're not. You're setting the neck tension. Okay? So, it's going to go like this. Just start it. Now, let's zoom back in. Run the shell holder all the way up. You're going to take your die and you're going to thread the die all the way in until you touch that shell holder and no more. Now, I'm touching the shell holder, so now I'm going to take the die lock ring, going to tighten it. Going to take my channel locks and I'm just going to ease into it. Just going to snug it up like that. Okay? Now we're going to put our case into there and make sure this expander plug is not threaded all the way down. You're going to take it up to where it's almost coming out like that. Alright? So now run your case up to there. You should have nothing. Let me back this up. From your angle on your handle, nothing. That case is going up there. It's not touching anything. Okay. Now zooming in here just a little bit. Start adjusting this expander plug down, and now listen. Now your case is talking to you. So right now what's happening is we've entered the mouth of the case, and now we're setting the neck tension with that first section. Shortly here, we're going to hit that step. I pretty much feel that step. Now, one advantage to this bullet being a thousandths smaller in diameter than as if it was a .431 is we're not going to have to expand the mouth of the case as much. The more you expand the mouth of the case, the less life you're going to get out of it. So we only want to expand enough to do the job and no more. Now, what we've done with this case with our Redding die is we have expanded the mouth to where when we set that bullet into there with ease, it's pretty much going to just like that, pretty much line up to the center axis of that case. Okay, so that's what you want. So now that we've done that, we have this seat plug or this expander plug exactly where we want it. Run the case back up so the case is putting tension against that plug so it won't move as easily. And now take this smaller lock ring and lock it down. Just like that. Now we have that die set up. Now, what we're going to do with this, we're going to make a dummy round. If you're running just a typical single stage press, you can't do this because you have to remove the dies out as you go unless you're using a removable bushing type like the Hornady lock and load or the Lee breech lock. But if you're just running a typical single stage press, you can't develop the dummy cartridge and then go back because you got to reset the dies up. But the turret press, because I can leave these in position, I'm going to make a dummy cartridge and I'll fit it to my revolver before I even touch the primer or the powder. Okay? So now we're ready to seat. You will know that it's the seat. Because it's designed to cradle the bullet. Okay? This is called your seat plug. The expander plug, that's called the expander plug. On this last die we set up, that's called an expander plug, and this is called the seat plug. Okay? So this is how this works. This die is capable of seating and crimping in the same step of the process, but we don't do that. We're going to seat on with this die, and then we're going to use our profile die for our crimp. So it'll be a separate step in the process. So this is how this is going to work. Okay? Going to run the shell holder all the way up. We're going to thread this die all the way down. And now I'm going to show you guys something, and I think it made for a good illustration last night. The crimp portion of this die, it is designed to where it's in full function when the mouth of that die is touching the shell holder. So I want to grab another case here. Pardon me, let me... Okay, I didn't want to use a good case. I didn't want to use a Starline case. So I'm going to take this case, and do you see that mouth? Watch this. Now do you see the mouth of that case? That die is crimping that, but we don't want to crimp. So in order to not crimp, we have to raise that die so we're not making contact with the mouth of that case, okay? So to do this, you're going to take this die and you're going to back it out about 2 turns. You're going to put a case into the shell holder and come up very slowly. What you don't want to do is you don't want to make contact with that die. So I'm backing it out a little more. There, I'm not making contact. Now I can run it down until I feel contact and back it away just a little. We don't want no contact. Once you're there, hold the die body, run your lock ring down, just like that. Now, I'm going to explain something to you. These loads we're working up, you are not going to let someone else shoot these. You need to get them started on a very low velocity 44 Magnum, preferably 44 Special. But these loads that we're working up, freaking bear stoppers. It's a hard cast bullet, 250 grains. It's going to be cruising very fast, okay? So, let's talk about something for a moment. You would say, how fast? And someone probably just looked down this manual and said, oh, it's going to be traveling at 1,240 feet per second. No. That's what they got. Remember, altitude changes. Altitude changes everything. So the velocities I'm going to get probably aren't going to be what you're going to get, but they could be. You'd only know if you chronograph these. That's the only way you're going to know. But this bullet cruising at 1,240 feet per second, it's a powerhouse, okay? So, it's been a lot of years since I've loaded this up, but it's a fun round, okay? And it causes a lot of destruction too. So now we have the die body set to where we're not applying crimp. So now we're going to take and we're going to seat our first bullet. And I'm going to go with the silver. I love it. I think it looks great. By the way, how am I doing? Hey, Farm Freak. He's replacing a trailer axle. So, Jay Byron Payne, can we stick to reloading info and skip the jokes and this nonsense you've had on here lately? I'm very close to not watching you any longer. I'm interested in the facts, not this other stuff. Well, let's help him out with that. Mr. J. So, Mr. J's no longer with us, so that's fine. He can find another channel. That's not a problem. So, okay. So, if you don't want nonsense, why don't you go start another channel? Oh, gee, if you were smart, you would have figured that out, right? Oh, I know. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do what I did and go get yourself a reloading manual? If you don't want nonsense, why would you go to YouTube and be with a bunch of people that are here having fun and all learning together? You know what? What a waste of my time. Okay, so now, okay, so I like the silver the best, okay? So we're going to seat this bullet. We have our die body set into position, but now we have to set, what's this called? A seat plug. And we're going to seat to a particular depth. Now, before we start seating, we're going to go to our load data manual. And we're going to seat to 1.710. Okay? 1.710. But I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to zoom in on this. First off, make sure, okay, can you guys see that? Let me drop this I got to back it out just a little more so you can see everything that's going on here. Alright, so make sure your bullet is perfectly aligned to the case. Make sure the seat plug is adjusted up to where, as you go up, you don't seat it and overseat it. My wife is laughing right now. She thinks that's funny. So, okay, so now I'm not touching that bullet with this seat plug. I'm going to run it down until I'm touching. Now, this is what you're going to do. Lower it and turn your seat plug. Before we go any further, now let me show you this. This is our crimp groove. I don't know how this is going to work, guys. this is your crimp groove. And ideally, you want the mouth of that case to be at the upper 90% of that crimp groove. So now, instead of taking our calipers out and measuring every stroke, we're watching for that mouth to come right up to there, okay? Sorry, it's kind of hard to hold that and do all this at once, okay? So now, what I'm doing is I'm watching that. And double check. Don't try and go off memory, even though we looked at the overall length a minute ago. We want 1.710. I'm 4 thousandths high. Now, I want you to look at that. See my needle? I'm 4 thousandths over the 10. Just go with me on this. This is a hard time for me to tell you how to read these. But I've only got 4 thousandths to travel. Look at where the mouth of the case is at. 4 thousandths, man, that's not much. And that is right where you want the mouth of that case, okay? So 4 thousandths would be like, did I nail it or did I nail it? Don't make it hard. Don't make it hard. Okay? So now that we have our seat depth, we want to keep that right where it's at. So run your dummy cartridge up. While you're holding the handle, take this die lock ring, thread it down. Lock that down, okay? The only thing we have left is we need to get our profile crimp. Let's talk about that. And I love this. I love it. I think that the Redding is my favorite. I'm telling you, Redding, they've got it engineered. This is the profile crimp that I'm using. H6286. A taper crimp, it takes the mouth of the case and it tapers it. That's all it does. It kind of, if I can do this, it does this. Just kind of tapers it. I don't know, something like that. The profile tapers it, but it rolls it. Get a little roll in there. Okay, this is a big Magnum load, so we want to definitely roll that. So run your lock ring up to the uppermost portions of your threads. Let's just get the die started, and we're going to run the case up there, and you're going to notice you don't feel anything. But watch this, and I did this last night, and it will work. Do you see this? We have wiggle. When the wiggle goes away, you're applying crimp. I got a long way to go, I know. Okay? Okay, watch. When you start getting close, go smaller incremental turns. You see that die getting firm? that die is talking to you. It's telling you, I'm making contact with the mouth of that case. There. Now listen, listen. I'm going to back it up. Okay, keep listening. Hear that? Deeper thud. Okay, now I grossly over crimped it. Okay? Only because it gave you a visual of the sound. Now let me go back. I want to do a silver. I like the silver. I think it's going to look nice. Now I'm going to back this out. Okay, there we're standing up. It's trying to focus, but that bullet's so shiny. You see that nice crimp? That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Now, two things. Our length is just perfect, but if it's off, don't worry about it if your crimp groove is where it's supposed to be. Okay, crimp groove, if you're in that crimp groove in the upper 90% and you're off several thousandths either way, don't even sweat it, okay? Now, the other thing, let me show you this. Just too much of a crimp in my opinion, but maybe not. I mean, we're really coming into that. It's a nice looking crimp. I mean, you know, it's a nice looking crimp, but I didn't crimp my 310 grain 44 mag hard cast bullets that much. Okay. Now, listen very carefully to me. This does not mean you're done. If this is incorrectly crimped or you don't have enough crimp, what's going to happen is in the revolver, upon recoil, the bullets are going to want to extend out of the case. They can extend so far that when you go to cock the revolver, it's going to impede the indexing of the cylinder. So, what you want to do, load a cylinder full up, shoot 4, and then open it, and you don't even need your calipers. Just make sure that it is holding just where you put it at the upper 90% of that crimp groove. If you see that the bullet is starting to pull from the case, then you know you have to apply a little more crimp. Okay? Now let me show you this. If you have to apply a little more crimp, do it in steps of about 1/16 of a thousandth, or 1/16 of an inch. Now you're seeing it's coming in to be a little more profound, round roll, but you don't see the markings on the case. Okay? So, as a recap, if you find that the bullet is coming out of the case upon recoil, you have to place a little more crimp and do it with about 1/16 of a turn on that profile die, or whatever die you're using. 1/16 of a turn. If it's a Lee factory, it's a 1/16 of a turn. If you're using your typical die just for crimping, a 1/16 of a turn at a time, because it doesn't take much. Okay. Now that we have that, run the case back up so it holds the die body in place. We'll take our lock ring, place it into position. We have now made a dummy round, and we haven't even used primers or powder. Now we are ready to get our powder set up. I have my primers already loaded. I already loaded those this morning. So we're ready to do that. So now we're going to get our powder dialed in. And now listen very carefully to me. We're going to use this Lee Deluxe, this is the perfect powder measure. I can use whatever powder measure I want, but only use one scale. Whatever scale you use to develop a load, use that scale for that load again. In other words, let's just say, this is a hypothetical situation. Actually more true than you would know. For rounds where I'm being very precise and just taking my time, I use my reading. When I'm over on my 650 over there and I'm loading what comes off my 650, I've got my digital and I'm going back and forth fast. But once I develop a load off this, I'm not going to go do that on my 650 because no two scales are the same. Okay? You can use whatever you want to throw the powder, but we're going to verify the charge that we threw with the same scale. Okay? So now we're ready to use our powder. You're only going to have one powder out. You don't want to cross two powders, but there's another thing. Make sure at this point in time that you have everything out of your powder measure. You make sure that there's nothing in there. This Lee, it's capable of holding up to 15 charges of powder. I've been working with this and smaller fast burning powders. It can hold as many as 15 charges. So if you have fast burning powder in here, it will hold 15 charges, and you adjust this for, we're going 17 grains, you just now tripled, put 3 charges in one case. You're going to blow your gun up, put yourself in the hospital. So before we put our powder in, make sure this is clear. So now how are we doing? Okay, so I'll go back and we'll read the comments when we're done. So now I work with so much different equipment. This is so funny because I go everywhere, right? I'm just human, right? This has oh, it was open. Make sure it's closed. See, okay, it's closed. When I work on, like if I'm loading on this 2 or 3 nights in a row, I got this down. But then when I go to the Dillon, and then I come back here and I gotta think about it. So make sure this is closed. The nice thing about this is, I like how Lee's done it. I gotta give him credit. With that closed, just like that. But don't do this. I'm just showing you. You don't want to drop it on the floor, right? Now, here's an interesting one for you. Guys will ask, how long will powder store? I'm going to kind of raise this up. How long is powder good for? Anyone that knows this powder knows this is not a current label. My garage, it goes from like 60 to 80 degrees year round. Okay. This was manufactured March 14th of 2000. Smells terrific. If you smell ammonia, it's no good. Now, this isn't the same powder as it was back in 2000. Whatever loads I developed off this, if I'm really shooting for accuracy, powder degrades over time, but the percentage of that is going to be minimal. This is still going to rock. This is a great powder. I'll tell you, I used to shoot the 2400 a lot. That was 24 was one of the first Magnum powders I used, but then I got into the H110, and the H110, bang, 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 right? A lot of that other thing through the your 44 Magnum, you don't go through a lot of Magnum powders because you want more trigger time with reduced recoil loads, like we did last night in that live stream. So You know what I think? Someone sound off on that. I think that what I should do, the live stream I did last night with the Oregon Trail bullets, I had to take those bullets and these bullets and take them to the range this week and put it on camera and put them on the ransom rest and see how the Oregon Trail group and how these group. I think that would be a very, very viable test to see how they, let me know what you think in the comments, okay? So, now we're going to set this up. We're going to throw our first charge, and I have minimal space to work with here, but that's okay. I'm going to bring my powder scale into position, and I hope you can see this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to tell you how to read a powder scale. I was trying to do that last night, but I was getting a little frustrated with my just the latency of everything. So, all right. On your, oh, hang on. My screen's doing funky things. On your scale, beam type scale, we have to zero it or bring it to rest. Remember, gravity's a constant and everything wants to balance out. So when we take our, can you see this? The small poise, set it to 0. The large poise, set it to 0. And our end pointer, and set it to 0. This pointer should be dead on 0. If it's not, adjust this foot. Make sure your pan is on. You got to have your pan on there, okay? Don't think that in past years I tried to zero my scale and I couldn't, and I was like, well, what's wrong? And then I realized my pan's not on there. It's like, oh, okay, that's human. That's our human side, right? So now this is what I want you to do. Get your pointer as close to that 0 as you can get it. And for me, that's just wasn't close enough. Dead on. Now, for anyone that wonders why I have the glass, I have the glass because it's so smooth, it has forgiveness, and I'll stay zeroed longer, okay? If you get glass, get it at least 3/8 thick and get it tempered. This isn't tempered, but if it's tempered, there's less chance of it breaking and cutting you, okay? So now we're going to set this for, and we don't do this, don't go off memory. We just looked in the load data manual, but you're going to go back to the load data manual and you're going to look at it. We're going to set this up for 17.6 grains. How you read this is, first of all, whatever scale you're looking at, unless it's the little Lee, and Lee's a great little scale, but right here to the left of our balance, if you were to count every one of those little lines and divide those into the maximum number, that would give you the value for each line. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, I was right. My glasses are brand new today, okay, so they're killing me. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we have 100 of those little lines. If we divide 100 into 500, we get 5. That means the value for each line is 5. Well, we want 17.6. Now, after we set this, we're going to look back at that manual and make sure it's 17.6, okay? So, here we go. I want the largest value I can get off this, and that's going to be 15. Now, you want to do this. Five, 10, 15. You want to get right down there and look, because if you're one line off, you're going to be 5 grains too high. That's a very fatal mistake, okay? Now, we need 17.6. We have 15. We need 2.6 more. Our whole numbers on the right side of the balance, This would be 1 grain, 2 grain, 3 grain, 4 grain, 5 grains, and then of course we have our tenths. So we need 2.6. So we want 1, 2.6. Now, this is what you do. Don't make this fatal mistake. Right now, you're going to calculate this. 5, 10, 15, 16, 17.6. So I have that set for 17.6, and now I'm going over to my load data manual and I'm double checking that. Okay, 17.6. It's best to put a sticky note under that as opposed to writing it down, because you can transpose it incorrectly. Okay, but do it how you want, but make sure you got it right. So now we're ready to begin throwing our powder. But now I'm going to show you this. I have my handy dandy little trickler out. And this is what we're going to do. Now I want you to think about this. If we end up working our loads up on this to where we're at a max charge. Our max charge is 20 grains. Man, you want to be throwing 20. You don't want to overthrow that. Now, my Redding, that powder measure throws like no other. This little Lee does a good job, but no powder measure is going to be absolutely perfect. Some even worse than others. So when you're dealing with a Magnum powder and you're on the higher end of the scale, throw low, trickle up. Every one of them. Now, first thing I'm going to do, I got to open this. And I'm going to fill this trickler, okay? And I'm just going to take this trickler and I'm going to spin it so I'm throwing powder. And I'm going really fast here, okay? Now, it's trickling, and that's what you want, just a trickle. You don't want a heavy flow. And I'm going to place it up on this die box, and I'll put this powder back into here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin throwing the charge. And I knew I was way high. I knew that. Now I'm going to adjust this, and I'm not really going to explain too much about how this little Lee Deluxe works. Follow my channel, because in the 223 Beginner Reloading series I showed everything about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this to where I'm coming in under 17.6. Now, while I'm working this, I'm going to explain a few things to the viewers, okay? Alright, I need to go back up now. Every time I make an adjustment on a powder measure, doesn't matter which one, you're going to throw 3 charges. Okay? And then you will weigh the 4th. Okay? I'm still throwing a little low. Okay, now I want you to notice something. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see everything. But one of the things about a scale, you're going to watch this. Let me throw another charge here, okay? This is an indicator that you're getting close. Watch my pointer. My pointer is just on the verge of floating, okay? I make my adjustment. I throw 3 charges. pretty quick here that needle's going to go up. Make an adjustment, throw 3 charges. Proving me a liar, isn't it? That's okay. Just keep bumping it up, keep bumping it up. Okay, now I'm over, but not by much. Okay, do you see that? Now this is what we want. We don't necessarily want that because on the next charge it could be high. So we want them all to come a little lower, but while we're at it, since that's what we want, what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin funnel pouring these on the side. Okay, so since this is a good one, I'm going to take it. Now, what I'm doing, I'm only doing, well, I started out 20, but I've killed a couple cases for a visual for you. But the ones I charge, I'm putting on this end, so I don't double charge one or miss one. Okay. So now, just for grins, let's see how well this little Lee is going to throw this 2400. You see that? Now we're low. That's on. That's not bad. That's pretty doggone good, actually. So, I'm going to take that. That's what I wanted you to see. We're a little high, okay? So you could be here all day. This just drive you nuts. Just drive you nuts, okay? I'm going to adjust that to where it's going to throw a little lower. And now, I'm going to do this so you guys can see it. I'm going to trickle. There. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I be doing this? Because this is it's a heavy Magnum, and even though we don't need to do this on the min charge, it's a good habit to get into, okay? But the other reason, we're going to put this on the ransom rest, so we want everything as uniform as we can get it. Now see how low that one is? Sometimes it can be the scale. So now what I'm doing is I'm controlling, I'm literally controlling, and that's a little low. perfect. I'm controlling the charge. Now, here's something for you. I'm controlling my charge. Powder measures throw off volume. I saw something here about the Lee powder dropper works good on the cheap. It works good, but not great. You take a Lee powder dipper. I've got them. In the old days did it. They work off volume. You put it on that scale and it's going to be tenths off either way. What this scale is doing is we're going for accuracy and consistent. We want every one of those to be perfect. So this is bringing us to the exact charge we're throwing to develop a load. We're developing here, right? That's what we're doing. So, and I'm going to tell you something. A long time ago on my channel, I was talking to a guy about this. He started doing this. We talked sometime later, and he said, you know, it's made me a better shooter. Because now when he pulls the trigger, he's really aware of where each shot's going. Okay? So just kind of process that. When it's easy to get on a progressive loader, bang them out, go to the range, go bang, 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 hit steel, hit paper, whatever. You know, you hit the general area. But when you're doing it this way, it doesn't, this is so precise and it makes you pay attention to when you're pulling that trigger, okay? There. Sometimes the scale just needs to be just kind of nudged a little bit, and that's fine. Okay. I almost overshot that. If that needle was any higher, I would pull that charge and rethrow it, okay? If I was loading for something with optics, if that went over by the slightest, I would rethrow it. Okay, that's me personally. This is how I do all my hunting stuff, my 30-06, all by hand, just like this. On my, anything with optics other than like my AR-15, when I get optics on that, just because of what that is, you know. But it depends. If on my AR-15, if I want precision, then I'm going to be trickling up like this. But just for good bang bang ammo, I'm not going to worry about it. But like my 30-06 for my moose this year, this is how I loaded every bit of that ammo. On your optics, you want that dead lined up. There. If that was any higher for optics, I'd say that's not good enough. You missed the mark. 17.6 is 17.6 is 17.6. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop right there. After the video, I can sit here and I can charge these cases, but I think you get the hint. Now, make sure that you cover your powder measure. Now, on my Redding powder measures, I do the same thing. They throw so consistent. The difference is, on my Redding, they'll be closer to 0 and I'd have to trickle less. But there's really no powder measure out there where you're not, if you want perfect powder charge, this is the best way to go. Okay. Now, you guys won't believe this, Do you see what I did? I didn't prime my cases. Shame on you. You guys are laughing. Did anyone catch that? Did anyone catch that? Oh, that's funny. That's funny right there. That's a funny one. But that's okay. That's okay. All right. So, who's laughing? No. No, I didn't do it on purpose, but there's so much with the latency and everything, and that's another reason why I don't do a full batch. I just do a bit. That way, if I make a mistake, I don't, I got to really shoot these. But my wife, I think you're doing pretty good for someone that doesn't know how to reload. She is awesome. Okay, so that's okay. No problem. No problem, and I'll tell you why. Because before we seat our bullet, we're going to take our flashlight, we're going to double check these, and that's what cut me onto that. So, alright, I have 5 cases primed, so now we have everything set up. Just bear with me here, guys. Okay. Not quite. There we go. So now I'm going to charge my cases. That is too funny. You'll hear me make a statement that you really shouldn't reload when you have other people talking to you. And that's one thing about live stream. I know it makes me vulnerable for making mistakes. But it's okay. I mean, and it gives the viewers an idea of how easily you can become distracted. I think that this Lee actually throws pretty consistent. I think it does pretty good. Believe it or not, we're on the home stretch. Oh, look at that. 2/10 off. Okay, so now I have 5 cases charged. And now I'm going to do something just for a moment, guys. I segregated all the other cases. I don't want to seat a bullet into a case that's charged with no primer. Okay. So now at this point, what you're going to do, once you've charged your cases, you're going to take a flashlight and you're going to inspect them. One, you're making sure that you haven't skipped a case, but you're making darn sure that you don't have a double charge. And you're really looking to make sure that it's uniform. The powder is uniform, okay? So now we are ready. We primed our cases, we've charged them. We trickled up, you know, every one of them is 17.6. So now we looked into the cases to make sure that we didn't miss one. So now all we have left is this. Seat, crimp. That is awesome. Bullet for brains. Thank you very much, my friend. Isn't that awesome? Now, before we get carried away, chamber fit, okay? Now, if your chamber's a little dirty, like my other one last night, it might not go in as nice as this, but should go in just something like that, okay? If your primer is riding too high, it's going to rub on the inside of the recoil shield. You don't want that, okay? Very nice. So now, one by one, we take our cases. Now, I'm holding the bullet just like that, keeping it as aligned to the case as I can. We ended up with 5. I'm going to do 15 more. But there we go. We got the real deal. Now, are these the real Keith loads? Well, actually they are. Let me back this out now. So we did it. Are these the real Keith loads? They'll say, well, the real Keith load is 22 grains at 2400. No. Well, you could say that. I mean, I guess you could say that. But the real Keith load is that 250 grain bullet that you've loaded up for whatever that pressure is you can run up to with holding your accuracy. That in my mind is the real Keith load. But guys can argue that all day, but we can develop this into a very accurate round and a very functional round, okay? So now, let's do a few things here real quick. This one's 4 thousandths high. Don't worry about it. You're in the crimp groove. Four thousandths high. Don't worry about it. You're in the crimp groove. 6 thousandths high. Don't worry about it. We're still in the crimp groove. And what's funny is we're in the upper 90%. If you were coming down on that crimp groove, then there would be a concern, okay? But if you look at where that's at, don't worry about it. Now, these are all coming in 5 thousandths high. So really, if you want to adjust down for that, if you want to adjust down so they all come down, that's fine. But if you have one that's 5 thousandths high and one that's lower, just leave it and let it come in on an average. Okay, now another thing. This is exactly why in Elmer Keith's book he talks about, okay, based off the cartridge overall length of this cartridge right here, we're going to have a particular amount of pressure in the case, but the deeper you seat that bullet, the more pressures you're going to have, okay? 5 thousandths, there's going to be a difference, but it's not enough. It's not enough for you to worry about, at least in my opinion. And another thing, once you take a load like this and you work it up to whatever, you know, okay, you say, okay, you've maxed it out, and so you dropped you dropped your load down, so you know you're in that safety margin. But in my opinion, what I found, based off that safety margin, a 5 thousandths fluctuation, no, that's not going to affect you. No. Okay, so there we go. Very nicely done. So that's pretty much it. To be honest with you, I didn't really plan on doing this today, but we went over to Walmart and I thought, you know, I'm gonna get the stuff so I can just get these powder coated bullets knocked out of the way. So how'd it go? How'd it go? I missed the primers. I know that I missed the primers, but there's a lot going on because I'm watching my comments. My wife was waving to me in there, and she's laughing right now, you know. And so I know one thing with the live streaming, you know, stuff can happen, but that's okay, because when I'm really reloading, then I'm pacing myself, and I'm defaulting to, you know, safety steps. So, all right, I'm going to go up and review some comments. So it looks like Bullet for Brains, he's no longer, he must have left. Yeah, okay, so the guy we blocked, J. Byron Payne, you know, I don't let those people bug me. I just ban them. It's kind of like some guy's going to come onto the channel and he's not telling me how to do it. He's like telling you guys how he wants the channel. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about my channel. One, for a long time, my wife, she'll tell you, I hated my channel. I hated it. Because for me, really, I can understand that guy. If I went to a channel, I just want the meat and gravy, and that's all. I want my information. But that's why I would go to a reloading manual. I wouldn't go to YouTube. But I didn't like my channel because I just wanted the meat and gravy. But when I started making my videos shorter, then my customers, you guys said, no, make them funny, just be you. So we're going to be me. If someone comes on the channel, they don't like it, and then they say, looks like I'll have to quit watching your channel. It's kind of like, well, guess what, bub? I never asked you to watch my channel anyway. You know? I get guys and they come on and they start telling me that because of them clicking on my videos, they are the ones that keep me financially going. Oh, really? No. Howdy else, you know, you know what, that guy, he is no loss to me whatsoever. So that's how I look at that. So I'm going to go through some comments. Do any questions, anybody? Grounds for 28. Good job, Highboy. Laugh a lot, Highboy. That's why we love this channel. Yeah, I I just don't put up with people especially someone harasses one of you guys. They're out of there. They're out of there. Period. Is your 6 covered? Multitasking. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm going down to most current. What are we asking? Native Gun 79, and thank you, Miss Highboy. Thank you for the nice chant, Highboy. Tony Owen, I guess we gotta start watching and keeping an eye on you. Yeah, you'll have to. Bjorn, he's from Sweden. Bjorn, hello. So thank you, everybody. We've got 23 watching. You know, that's a great turnout. The reason you see a lot of these workshops, I'm just trying to get comfortable with it. That's all. That's all. And once I get comfortable, they'll go a lot smoother. So, is there anything you'd like me to see do different? Anything different? Sea Monsters, thank you. You have been with me for a while. He says, you know what, Highboy, I've enjoyed your videos for years, and between your faith and your personality and the information, it is totally quality stuff. Thank you, and you've been with me for a long time. Sea Monsters, yeah, you're one of my originals. Native Gun 79, Happy New Year. Outrageous Bob, don't change what you find enjoyable. It should be fun, or what's the point? Yeah, exactly. Slim Fire, brother, how you doing? Happy New Year, man. I like more close-ups of the process. I'm going to try and do more of that. That's really hard to do, but we can do that. We'll do that. Walter Bunny, not really doing a good job. Walter's laughing. He's going to see me get addicted to powder-coated bullets. He's going to be laughing. Saying, I told you, Highboy. I told you. Right? Very good. Very good. Well, hour and 44 minutes. Last night was 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm trying to cut down the time. That's one reason I missed my primers is in my mind I'm kind of trying to shape the way I do this, so I'm cutting time, and so I just skip that, you know. But that's okay. What I need to do is have a checklist above me and go down that checklist. I think that would be very wise because I need to be a good example, and I need to be safe, you know. We're going to get into 44 special. We'll get into 44 special. So let me tell you what you're going to see now. You won't see any live workshops for a day or two. I got some more Lee videos coming out and going to be working on the M1 Garand. Oh yeah. But the next videos you'll see after this in this playlist of the live workshops, you're going to see me putting these on paper and what I did last night on paper. We'll see how the powder coat perform, and we'll see how organ trail perform, and I'll even show you the revolver, how dirty it is, what it looks like, that kind of thing. And so that's what I'll do. Captain Dave, comparing with the Reading scale. Okay, what do you mean by that, Captain Dave? And I'll try and answer it. Yeah, Grand, woohoo. Oh, we're going to get into some Grand, some serious Grand. And then once I get through that series, we'll do live workshops on the Grand. Thank you, Bjorn. Oh, Captain Dave, he's saying, did you see the comment on the Hornady scale? Yes, I did. I think that's what sidetracked me on the primer. It's Captain Dave's fault. It's your fault, Captain Dave. I have the Hornady. I think it's a great scale, but I like my Reading better. My Reading the Hornady is a top-notch scale. It's a top-notch, but I like my Hornady. I mean my Reading better. My Reading, I like how Reading has the integrated. You know, you can see how many tenths you're off down here, and when you're trickling up, you can't miss it. I just like that feature. I do. I feel like they kept that in their design as an original precision feature. Also, okay, the model number 2, it weighs more. That's one miss with modernized. I don't want to knock any manufacturer, but weight, base weight helps to steady a scale out. The Lee is a fabulous little scale, but it's so light, right? The Redding, it's a heavy base, and so it'll absorb and zero out and stay zeroed longer. That's just the reason the Lee can get away with staying zeroed is because it all locks into position. I like what Lee's got going on, but what I didn't like about my Hornady, it just didn't hold zero as long. It seemed like to me it was just such a light scale. But past that, you know, okay, if you got a scale like that, all you got to do is verify zero more. But with this scale, what I like about it, because of the weight, it holds zero nicely, especially on that glass. So I like it. Captain Dave, laugh out loud. But I think that the Hornady's it's a good dependable scale. You just got to check your zero regularly. Yeah, the pointer indicator is very nice. That and just the weight of the Redding, I liked that. But that's just from what I remember. I haven't had my. I believe I blessed somebody with my Hornady. I gave it to him. I didn't get rid of it because I didn't like it. All right. Reloader noob, learning a lot from you, beginning to piecemeal a reloading bench together. Piecemeal, yeah, that's awesome. Get your reloading. I got videos on how to build a reloading bench. Put in the search engine Bill Morgan and building a reloading bench, and you'll find those videos. But you might already have one in mind. Okay, Grounds 28. He has a question. Quick question, Highboy, on leftover burnt powder casings. Okay, Grounds 28. Quick question, Highboy, on leftover unburnt powder and casings for 357 Magnum. I used 2400 with a 158 grain semi-wad cutter. Been using a fairly tight crimp. Curious what your opinion is. You're just going to have that. That's kind of the nature of the beast. But that's why, and I want to say this very lightly, that's why some guys go, are you using, I think you're already using Magnum primers with that. Are you already using Magnum primers with that? I think I'm with Walter on that. I think it's more powder residue. Although not always. It could be unburnt powder because, like, especially slow burning powder, especially. Here's how you know. Collect it up and light it. You can sit there at a range shooting all day long, and right there in front of you is a pile of powder, and you can put it together and light it. It's actual powder, but you'll hear me say in videos, we don't really worry about that powder. But are those Magnum? Yes, they're Magnum primers. Yeah. Sometimes how close to a compressed load is it? Like this 2400 isn't nearly close to a compressed load. Oh, Kay's asking, have you ever thought about getting electronic powder dispenser and scale combo? Or do you have any opinions on them? Oh, I think they'd be great. I do. But I don't get one because I don't ever felt I've needed one. And now, especially since I run my Dillon, for me, I don't ever see me needing one. I suppose for like what I'm doing here, that would be really nice to have one of those. But the reason I wouldn't is I'm kind of like OCD. I can trickle up to perfection and double check it, but I don't know enough. I've got a friend that had the Hornady one, and he swore by it. So I just think if you feel like it makes it nicer for you, it would definitely be convenient. So I don't think there'll be nothing wrong with it. I think you ought to do it and then let me know. Yeah, it's not compressed. Honestly, the next time you do it, next time you go to the range and have that, put it in a little plastic bag, go home, dump that out on a white piece of paper and take a picture and send it to me. You have my number and let me see that, okay? And then I'll tell you. I wouldn't worry about it. I have it in cases and I don't worry about it. Just keep trucking. I missed something. Ray-Ban, did Ray-Ban have a question? I don't want to leave anybody out. Oh, Ray-Ban said, why did you get rid of your Hornady stuff? Well, on my Hornady Progressive, when I started my Dillon, I got my Dillon, and we're getting into the 223. Well, I bought everything for the 223 for my Hornady too. I bought it all, and I was gonna run my Hornady on my channel, but that's when I noticed that my Hornady wouldn't seat my primers past flush anymore. And I kind of felt like my Dillon didn't have that problem. The problem with the Hornady is where my ram came down on my press, it was so divoted out that I couldn't seat past flush anymore. Hornady's fixed is they put a little, looks like a coin over that, and you glue it on there. But that coin, for me, wasn't doing the job. It just wasn't working. So upon calling Hornady, Hornady said, we don't guarantee past flush. You'll have to seat on something else. So that means, why would I want to go use another form of seating a primer when the whole idea behind the progressive press is it saves you time. So if I gotta, now I have to resize decap on one step of the process, then prime, and then I could finish the cases on my Hornady. It didn't make sense, right? So based off that, okay, I'm still reading your question. So based off that, I called Dillon and I said, what happens if your Dillon won't seat past flush? They said, we just send you a little part. He said, it's not part of the body, it's its own piece. I said, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. And so both of my Dillons, they seat past flush. And so I didn't feel like, I felt I would have been a hypocrite. Think about it. If I'm telling someone, you have to seat past flush, but my machine isn't, that makes me a hypocrite. A lot of guys got mad at me for getting rid of my Hornady. I sent it to a guy over in Hawaii, he bought it from me, and he told me, he said, it doesn't seat past flush, they're flush. I said, yeah, I know. He says, I'm just shooting it the way it is, and if I want, I'll just prime on another system. He says, I love it, and it does work good. My Hornady worked good. It's just, I couldn't get it to seat past flush, so that's why. if I had another Hornady, I would probably run it, right? I probably would. JH 586 SW. How long does it take you to cast 100 bullets? 100 bullets. Who wants to see me get into casting? Curious. Who wants to see me get into casting? Rayman says, cool, thank you for the answer. I have the same press. I also have the turret Reading. I think you're saying Reading. That my Reading turret is awesome. I would, if I could only have one press, it would be that. If I had to give up my Dillons or my Reading, I'd have to give up my Dillons. I'm sorry, I just would. Anybody want to see me get into casting bullets? I would do it. I would. Why not? Texpat, I do. Texpat, brother, how you doing, man? How you doing? Sea Monster, I thought about doing casting. Tough for me to get the time, though. Yeah, that's the problem. CS Rolling Bench, I do. Tony Owens, I'm interested in learning more about casting myself, but I'm taking baby steps. Ron Bunch says yes. Walter Bunning, casting is a whole new ball game and takes time. No one casts 100 bullets at a time. You do 5 to 1,000. Yeah, I know that. I know that. But 100 just kind of gives me an idea of a time frame. That would be neat. Been thinking about casting myself. I have the equipment, but I have not casted yet. I would enjoy to see how it's done. If I did casting, I would get very detailed. Very detailed. Very detailed. I would want to cast for several months on the side to get it down. You know, but I would do it. James T, welcome. New guy. Thank you for doing these live streams. They are awesome. Can't thank you enough. We love to see, would love to see some casting. All right, I might do that. I might do that. The first person that sends me an email to groundzeroreloading@gmail.com and in the title they put silver bullet, give me your shipping address, I will ship you this dummy round. Who's first? groundzeroreloading@gmail.com. First taker, I'll send them this dummy round. No powder, no primer, silver bullet. Captain Dave 221. Pure Evil Bandit. Hey, just joined. Glad to see you live again. How do you like those presses mounting plates? I'm new to reloading and was looking at it a way to interchange presses and other things like swagers. So only way to go. I could not have my channel without these, but now after having these plates by Inline Fabrication, I would never be without them. As a matter of fact, if I didn't have my channel, these would enable me to have an 8-foot bench, and I could stack all my equipment away and it would free up the rest of my garage, and I could just interchange as I want. And you can put vices on these. Dan's got a bunch of stuff over there. So in the description box below, I'll put a link to Inline Fabrication. Go check him out. Yeah, Inline Fabrication. JH, I'll take half a day and just cast all that time, then powder coat the next day. If you want to know how much, check out Fortune Cookie 45. I probably won't watch a video channel. I don't watch other channels. You know, if I start watching other channels, I'm going to sound like them. I just want to be my own guy. You know, I got books on it, and I know the basics of it. Ryan, oh yes, Kay. For the best casting info on YouTube, Elvis Ammo is the guy to check out. #1 on Inline Fab. I love Elvis Ammo. What a nut. Awesome, glad to hear. I was looking at those. Thanks for letting me know. Text Pat. Love those plates. Yes, sir. Okay. We're going on 2 hours and 2 minutes. I think we're going to shut her down, guys. It's 3 o'clock my time. We're going to go play. Miss Highboy and me, we're going to go play. Oh, yeah. We're going to have fun. Text Pat. Highboy's design. You're awesome. A text pad is so awesome. Okay, I want to see if someone sent me an email yet. All right. A guy by the name of Chris. Man, he's fast. And he put silver bullet. Chris, I see your address. I'll send this to you. You're awesome, brother. You're awesome. I'll tell you what I'll do, Chris. I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay? I'll include some of these bullets from Bullets for Brains. He would love that. He will. This guy, Bullet for Brains, he has his own YouTube channel. Go check him out. You know, he got a hold of me. I talked to him on the phone. He said, you know, I just want to support your channel. I want to help you out. You know, I knew he you know, wasn't really set to send money, and I was just grateful. He said, could I send you a bunch of my own cast bullets? I couldn't believe how many he sent, right? I know he would love someone else to shoot his bullet. So, Chris, I'm going to send you an assortment of his bullets with this, send them to you, and I appreciate it. So what do you say? Okay. Bjorn, it's your bedtime. Okay. You guys are great. Just great. I love it. I love it. Okay. Before we sign out, I want everyone to say one word. One word. Are you ready? Is it hamburger or pizza? Outrageous Bob, have a good night, you two. Thanks. Sea Monsters, thanks. Pure Evil Bandit, Happy New Year. Oh, Sea Monsters, I'm Chris. That is so awesome. So now we'll have each other's phone number. I'll put you in my phone. Walter Bunning, pizza. Roadkiller, pizza. Sea Monsters, pizza. Pure Evil, pizza. Bjorn, pizza. Reloaded Nude, pizza. Jimmy Rodriguez. Oh, Elk Hamburger, you nailed it. Oh, that's so good. Texpat, pizza. Pizza. Grounds for Zero. Grounds 28, pizza. CS Reloading, pizza. Ron Bunch, hamburger. That's awesome. Carl Hamburger, Miss Highboy. Hamburger, Miss Highboy. Steak. She loves my steak. Yeah. One day, my wife and I, we want to come travel somewhere in the United States and visit. We don't know where y'all live, but it would be cool to just meet at a pizza house or a burger house. I think that would be so cool. But another thing, just so you guys know, I don't expect anyone to do this, trust me. But when I have enough of a local following, I want to have like pizza get-togethers at pizza places, you know. And if when any of you are ever come our way, we'd make sure we would do that. So that's just, you know, wishful thinking maybe, but you guys are like family, just like family. Yeah, JH, yeah, steak, that's what he's talking about. Miss Highboy, Happy New Year's, everyone be safe. Okay guys, that's it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to kill it. Me and Walter, we just might have to yakety yak on the phone when I get ready to catch some bullets. It would be a pleasure. You would be a pleasure, Walter. I think you're a great person. I do. Guys and gals, that's the end of this live stream. God bless. We'll see you.